Good evening. I'm streaming live to an assortment of places in case you happen to be seeing this and we haven't met before. My name's Diane Hockman, and it's a very special occasion for me today. And I was going to let it pass without any words. See, now I don't like the lighting. I was playing with it, and that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. If you come on and say hi, I don't know, I look blue, green. I don't know what I look like. That's okay. Today's a special occasion, and I was going to let it simply pass on by. I had thought that it wasn't important, and I had thought that I wasn't going to mark the occasion. But I had a discussion with a friend of mine yesterday, and it's interesting as the years go by and the tides turn and times change, the people that came to you, sometimes you turn around and you go to them. I called my friend Jack, and I told him about some of the things I had been feeling, and he kicked me in the tushy in the very best way. Today is the 25th anniversary of me not having a job and having a home business. And I remember every single year I used to celebrate it, and I used to write these grand emails, and I used to do giveaways. And one year, I think it was 10 years ago, my 15th anniversary, I ran a big contest, and everybody made videos, and it was all over the place, and everybody was sending me regards. And this year, I wasn't even going to say anything. But I had a conversation with Jack. And if you look back there, there's a little girl wearing her very best 1970s ensemble, getting her school picture taken. I don't know what bridge, whether that's the Verrazano or the Brooklyn Bridge or one of the New York City bridges, which, by the way, if anybody comes from New York, you'll relate to this. I used to believe, my dad told me that they lit up the New York City bridges for me. I thought they were Christmas lights, and he told me that they left them up all year round for me. That little girl wanted to be loved so very much. She wanted to be recognized. She was precocious, a smart little girl. She didn't know it yet, but she had severe ADHD and some learning disabilities, but she was smart as a whip. And all she wanted was for somebody to say, hey, you're smart. Hey, you're doing a good job. Hey, you're awesome. And that little girl grew up, had a couple of babies, married the wrong guy. Unfortunately, she found out, and had a couple of babies that she loved more than breath, and ended up at 32 years of age being broke, depressed, obese, miserable, and not knowing if she'd ever find a way out. And then she found the home business industry. And that little girl turned into a young woman, walked into something that she never, ever would have imagined would change her life, turn it upside down, take her down a road that was beyond belief. But there's a couple things that went with that little girl turned woman that I want to talk about tonight. And I know there's not many people watching right now, which I predicted because media's changed and things have changed. And I didn't tell anybody I was going to come out. But if you do know me, I'd love it if you'd like it, comment, potentially share it, because I'm going to say a couple things that I think might help you. I went through the whole first, 15, 20 years of my career excelling for the wrong reasons. Made a lot of money, won a lot of awards, stood on a lot of stages, worked with a lot of amazing people, taught a lot of classes, but I was still that little girl that desperately wanted somebody that she perceived to be in the parent role to pat her on the head and to tell her she was doing a good job. There's only one problem in this industry. They'll ride somebody like that. They'll take a person who wants recognition, and you always get trained. People want recognition. Well, I sure did. And they'll ride them, and they'll get them to trot like a pony. They'll get them to bring all of the people. They'll get them to jump up and down. And I did. And I got all the things. I got the $80,000 car. I got the $3,000 handbag. I got the house. I got all the stuff. I got the adulation. I got people following me into the bathroom at events. I got my name up in lights. I got the big checks on stage, the Publisher Clearinghouse checks. I got it all. And in fact, one of the companies that I work with, which, well, we'll talk about that another day, they even gave me crowns. And when I moved, I threw away all my crowns, but I couldn't quite, and this one was meant to be pinned onto like a big updo, so it doesn't sit on your head right. You can't really just wear it on your head. I remember the thrill when they first gave me this thing. And I remember everybody tried it on and everybody took a picture with it. And it was better than any trophy anybody could have given me, because this was the crown. Because originally they gave me tiaras, and then we moved into like the heavy duty crown. This was the crown that little girl wanted so badly. My family didn't have any money. I wasn't in dance class. I didn't get a tutu. I wasn't in pageants. I didn't have any of that stuff. My family didn't have any money. And the idea of being sparkly and pretty and admired and loved was everything that I wanted. And I worked for years trying to get that. And this is the epitome, winning a $80,000 car lease and a crown. But when I was talking to my friend Jack yesterday, because I've really been very quiet. I've been very, very quiet. Haven't said much, haven't been out. I've been quietly teaching classes and doing things. I've quietly built an organization, which I love all you guys. I've been very quiet. I didn't have much to say, because somehow, some way, all the things turned upside down, and all the things weren't important anymore. And all the things, well, as they say, all that glitters isn't gold. And I was trying to buy the stairway to heaven and all that stuff. So when I was talking to Jack, who was a student of mine, who I don't know why, I was kind of meditating and something said, call him. He's somebody that you could just talk to. And he said, don't you remember who you are? And for a few minutes, I thought I was the chick with the crown, right? The queen of attraction marketing and all that stuff. And then I realized this was never real. This was just a stunt for people, because every little girl wanted one of these, right? Who I am is the person that took everybody's hopes and dreams seriously. I'm the person that stood up there and taught from my heart and from my soul, knowing that there were other little girls and boys that were looking for something more than the workaday world. I'm the person that refused to abuse people that were seeking, and understood that for many, walking through my camp would be just a stepping stone on their path to who they were to become. And it was not my job to dictate, to guilt, to scold, to shame, because that goes on a lot. You didn't produce enough. You didn't do enough. You didn't lose enough weight. You don't look right. You didn't dress right. You're not enough. You're not on the council. You're not on the committee. You're not in the leadership team. You're not invited to the event. We're excluding you. That's how I always felt as a little girl. I was excluded. When I finally found something that I could do, that they would include me, I thought I had found heaven. The only problem is when you go through a divorce and your life falls apart and you get COVID and you get sick and all this other stuff, and you can't make anybody money, they're not including you quite as much anymore. They're not inviting you to their things anymore. Their cotillions, their parties, their secret masterminds. And what Jack reminded me was that he had taken notes from my words when he was coming down the road. And then I had another person, Kim, BB, my BB, show up out of the blue. Haven't seen her in years. And she sent me a screenshot out of the blue. I didn't talk to her. She didn't know I was feeling any of this. She sent me a screenshot of the folder she kept with every word I ever wrote, which is funny because that's what I did with my mentor. I still to this day have every word he ever wrote. I have more. He doesn't even have them anymore. I have them all because I believe he wrote those words for me. And Kim believed that I wrote those words for her. Don't you know who you are, Diane? He said. You know who I am? I'm the one that believes that everybody has to craft their own brand in their way, with their words, with their style, with their sensibility, from their culture, from their neck of the woods, the way that they believe. Everybody has to learn to be in their own integrity. I was teaching that tonight. I was teaching basic fundamentals of creating residual income, but why most people fail, because they're being taught to do things that are out of integrity for them. And so Jack and I were musing and talking, and I mentioned the crown, or I don't know how it came up. And I said it was the one thing I didn't let go of. I threw away all my awards. I threw away all my plaques. I took pictures of everything just for the memories. But when I moved, I packed up into like literally one vehicle and left. And so there was no room for all of that. There was tons of it, tons of memorabilia. I remember all those tags from the events. You know, you get the neck tag with your name on. I had hundreds of them, and all the things people had sent me, and all the books people sent me, and all the things, and all the thank you notes, and all the stuff. But I couldn't let go of this, because this meant so much to that little girl. But Jack reminded me who I am. And he reminded me that I always have believed in people, sometimes more than they believe in themselves. And that I always have kept believing in people, sometimes for years, sometimes for decades. And that I've always put my heart into those folks that I saw potential in. And if I ever encouraged you, if I ever sent you a note, and especially if you didn't have a financial relationship with me, you weren't on my team, you weren't my client, you weren't my customer, I just noticed you, and I ever tapped you on the shoulder and told you, it's because I care. I'll always care. And for a while, I thought that was wrong, because I thought if I wasn't being the star and getting these things, that I wasn't enough. So Jack and I were talking about stuff, and he said at the end of the movie Mean Girls, which I didn't, I hope this works. It's going to ruin my whole talk for all 7 of you. No, it works. At the end of the movie Mean Girls, which I saw through my daughters, the girl who everybody had picked on and there was all the drama, she ends up being the prom queen or something, I guess. You know, I'm a girl that watched all the John Hughes movies in the 80s. I'm not really up to the 90s teen movies, but ask me about Pretty in Pink or 16 Candles. I can tell you everything about it. The Breakfast Club, but I can't tell you a lot about that movie. But what I know is she cut up her tiara and gave a little piece of it to all the other girls. I'm crushing the rhinestones. And so tonight, in honor of my 25th anniversary of not having a job, which I constantly find it fascinating. Anthony, you're amazing. And you are somebody that I noticed a long time ago and have always done my best to encourage. I just lost my train of thought because I was thinking about you. I thought that I had to hold on to this. And I spent a lot of time thinking about how I was going to get back there. How, you ever do that in your life? How am I ever going to get back there? How am I ever going to get back to my fighting weight, or my high school weight? How am I ever going to go back into those jeans? How am I ever going to get back? Maybe you had a financial setback, or maybe you had a life setback, or, marriage that broke up, or relationship with other people that you'll love, maybe estranged from somebody you love. How am I ever going to get back there? Yes, I'm cutting this. And then I realized today, I'm not supposed to go back there, because the only time is now, and the only way is forward. And I know that I'm supposed to teach about different things, and I'm supposed to talk about different things. And yeah, am I still going to show people how to make money? I'm doing it today. I love making me some money. Maybe I don't need a prize for it. Maybe I don't need an award. Maybe I don't need a adoring crowd. Heck knows I can't get people on a training anymore because they're all busy chasing the newest goofy email program, or the newest, they got master resale rights and master resale rights and master resale rights and this and that. And, it used to be back in my day, because I'm old, that you sought out the wisdom of the elders, the people who had done it. My policy was, if they've been around for 5 years, okay. If they've been around for 10 years, if they've been successfully doing this for 25, 30 years, I'm going to sit at their feet. I grew up at the feet of Mark Hughes and Jim Rohn and Gary Halbert. And, I could just sit and name these people. Gary Halbert, famous marketer, look him up if you don't know him. There was a time, not Gary Halbert, Dan Kennedy. There was a time when Dan Kennedy, who was the king, right? You couldn't reach him except by fax. This is when nobody had a fax anymore, because technology had changed and the internet was here. And, but he insisted on doing it his way. And those that understood the power of what he knew. Have you guys seen Russell Brunson? Notice that Russell Brunson brought his ClickFunnels, right? He bought Dan Kennedy's company and he sits with Dan Kennedy every day, even when Dan Kennedy couldn't be reached any other way. And everybody said he was an old coot and he had nothing to give and nothing to share. Here's little Russell, right? That sweet, innocent face. Not a kid anymore. I've known Russell for years. Not a kid anymore. But he understood who was who. So you know what? I'm not going to ask anybody to listen to me anymore. I used to beg people to listen to me. Please come. Please let me teach you how to be free. Please come. Please let me teach you how to not have to feel icky in your business anymore. Please come. Please come. I'm not going to do it anymore. And I'm not going to align with companies that, yeah, I made money, but you know what? There was always something a little funky going on there. There was always a cannibalism of humans that didn't sit right with me. There's a lot of that out there. Okay. I'm a Pollyanna. I believe in the magic of residual income. I believe in the magic of simple processes, simple personal development. So what am I doing? And why am I dragging this on? Because I'm ripping up this tiara, which the one thing that I couldn't leave behind, I'm ripping it up. Not because I want to destroy it, because in the movie Mean Girls, at the end of the party, the girl gave everybody, all the other girls, but this is for girls and boys, she gave everybody a piece of the tiara because she wanted to remind them that we're all kings and queens. And it's not some, I have them all here. It's not some external force. It's not your upline. It's not the MLM guru that holds an emergency meeting to whip you around emotionally to sell you their stuff. It's not your mama. It's not your daddy. It's not your spouse. It's not your peers. It's not becoming an award-winning marketer. It's not being published in a book that you paid to be published in and saying it's a best-selling book. Oh, I'm gonna hurt feelings now, right? It's not any of that stuff. It's not buying your way to an article in Forbes. It's PR, Diane. It's good business. I know, but you present it like Forbes knocked on your door and begged you to be it. It's not being self-publishing a book and then, you know, one day getting it to be a bestseller in an obscure category. Look at the little diamonds are all over the place, sparkly like a diamond. And there's diamond dust, well, rhinestone dust on my pad here. All I want to know is who wants a piece of this? Who wants their own crown put on their own head by them, not by me? It's not for me to tell you that you're a king or a queen. It's not for me to anoint you. It's not for me. I have no control over your life. The only person, it took me 25 freaking years to learn this. I waited for somebody to tell me I was good. And if somebody even mumbled that I wasn't as good as I should be, I would fall apart because I didn't understand that I am my own ruler and I have my own freedom. And when you learn to make money, you don't have to worry anymore. I had a company that just sent me a letter yesterday and said, we're not paying you no more. And then they beat their chest to tell us how they paid all the time and they did this and they did that. We did this. None, like we understand that this is short notice. Nothing like we understand that could impact your finances. Nothing like we understand that this could impact you in any way. Guys, and I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the guy that was getting $300 a month and he uses it for his car payment and he didn't get any notice because something happened for them. And there was no I'm sorry. There was, this is how it is, and this is the legalities and termination and how great we are. There was no I'm sorry it turned out this way. And that's all that had to be said. You walk around the industry. By the way, I just found out another guy that I work with is going to jail. He tricked me. I thought he was looking to change the world and help all these people. And I went there and I sat with all the staff that also thought we were changing the world and helping people. As the money was slowly but surely disappearing. And I was waiting for that guy to tell me I was good. I was waiting for that person to tell me I was good. I was waiting for somebody to put me up on a pedestal and then take me down just as fast. And I would let that emotionally impact me and my business. And Jack said to me, don't you know who you are? Child of God, woman who cares, person full of wisdom, of 25 years of experience with the ups, the downs, the ins and outs. And I'm hiding and I'm not using my words and I'm not sharing this. I'm not sharing this. I've been lecturing for years about diversifying your income. I've been lecturing for years about leaving a legacy and laying down your words. I didn't write my list. I taught everybody how to build a list. I'm famous for it. I didn't write my list for a month. How selfish of me. How selfish and ego-filled of me that I'm holding on. I want to break it more. Oh, look. How selfish of me that I'm sitting on top of 25 years worth of wisdom that could set somebody free. Let them be with their family. Let them care for their elderly parents. Let them live in the mountains off grid. Let them live by the ocean. Let them get an RV. Let them do whatever they want. Let them be with their babies and give birth at home and breastfeed and all of this stuff. How selfish of me. Because I was still being that little girl that's behind me, begging for somebody to tell me that I'm good instead of, this is actually kind of fun. I'm making a mess though. Instead of sharing, I want to say pearls of wisdom, but diamonds. Now, am I saying I have all the wisdom? No. What do? I'm aligned with people that have a lot more wisdom than me. But I sat and I felt sorry for myself. Maybe you haven't gotten started in your business the way you want to because you're feeling sorry for yourself because nobody will pay attention to you and nobody will love you. And why make that video? Because nobody's going to listen. After 25 years, I can't rile an audience. Nobody's listening except for somebody is. And somebody's going to share this and somebody's going to pass this along. And somebody is going to write me and say, I want my piece of that crown as a symbol of my royalty as a child of God, my royalty in my own state, in my own being, in this present moment. I require no one to anoint me. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about somebody who's going to contact me and say, I want my piece. There's little... They're all over the place. I got rhinestones all over the floor. What was wrong with me? The same thing that was wrong when I started, but in opposite. I was an ego. the beginning, I was an ego, and all those years I was an ego because I wanted to be on the stage and I wanted to be the one and I wanted to be the star and I wanted my name up in lights. And then I was an ego because I'd sit on a couch and I'd watch Netflix. Yellowstone was good. I was very disappointed to hear there's not a new season coming out. And I think I'm going to stop doing this because there's literally rhinestones going everywhere, but I do have a vacuum. But isn't it the same thing when you think you're not enough and when you think you're all that? Isn't it all the same? And in the end, when I thought I was all that, I really thought I wasn't enough. I remember how upset I'd get when for a couple years I was like VIP because I could fill seats. And then when I couldn't fill enough seats, I was no one. And they wanted me to pay $2,500 to go to the same thing. They wanted me to go, last year I was very important. This year, I'm not. You ever do that and you didn't produce enough in your business? You're not important anymore. Align yourself with people that see your God-given gift and think you're important every single day. Not that they're going to excuse your lack of work. Not that they're going to endorse your story. But that they do not place your value based upon production, appearance, willingness to say their words. I never want you to say my words. I never want you to say my words. If you say my words, I'll come smack you. I want you to use your words. I want you to write your words. I want you to find your people. Your people that were meant for you, that were born to hear your voice, to hear your message. I think I'm done. Here's to me. It's iced tea. 25 years. 25 years of not commuting. 25 years of not going to a job. 25 years of having no boss. 25 years of learning to create my own work. Ask me to do a training on that, creating your own work. 25 years of seeking out those that would help me decode what I already knew in my heart. 25 years of being the cheerleader for some of the most magnificent people I've ever seen. Some are still around, some have gone on to the next thing. Some, unfortunately, have left this planet. But 25 years of love and a passion for this place that people come to try to make a better life. It's like America. People came here for centuries to try to make a better life. The home business industry. People come and seek to try to make a better life. And so many people that came to this country got abused and taken advantage of and leveraged. But some people figured it out and they made their way. And I was one of them. And I'm just looking for the handful of people that want to do it too. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for watching me absolutely destroy this artifact. Thank you for accepting your peace and acknowledging to yourself, as Jack told me, I had to remind myself who I am before anybody else would even notice who I am. Can you remind yourself tonight, maybe in my honor, if you care to, who you are? Can you remind yourself tonight what you're after? That there are people waiting for you that can only hear your voice. Can you remind yourself? And that's the other thing. I'm not saying this to motivate you. Okay, I can't motivate you. Might be able to inspire you. I might be able to lift you up to your, to take a look at your own higher self, but I can't motivate you. That comes from your own drive, your own desire, your own calling. But I will encourage you to be quiet for a little bit. That's what I did. My life has changed so much. Put down the phone. My girls know that it's 8:04. That's why I want to get off, because I shut down at 8 o'clock now. Be quiet for a little bit and listen to your soul. It'll tell you what you should be doing. And yes, seek wisdom. But wisdom shouldn't cost an arm and a leg. It should be passed from person to person, from leader to leader, to mentor to mentee, because it's the right thing. Do things cost money? Of course. But this whole bullshit of telling you that you got to buy all this stuff and all this other stuff to be included, well, I did it. It ain't the answer. It ain't the answer. The answer sits in you putting on your own crown, and you opening your mouth so that those that might listen could hear. If you found any value in this, feel free to share it. I'm turning off my computer on my phone now. Have a beautiful night. Take care.